We're officially 1 week away from Kadooment Day here, bars, here on the island of Barbados. I'm so excited, and I know lots of you are too, because I've been seeing so many women talking about how they cannot wait to get to Ben, well, they say Barbados, and turn up for Crop Over Festival and be on their quote-unquote worst behavior. Well, beloved ones, I have 3 pieces of advice for you. What going on? What going? What's up? My name is Lyvonne Briggs, aka Ifa Fumike. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, also known as Dawta of the Diaspora, the life and times of a Bajan bad gal. Now, in a former life, I was an Ivy League trained body and sex positive womanist pastor. Today, I am the African-centered priestess of pleasure. And I'm also a Bajan bad gal. Well, technically, I'm a Bajan-Guyanese New Yorker with Barbadian citizenship, and I recently relocated to the island of Barbados full time. So I know what I'm talking about. Now, Crop Over is not just a carnival. No shade to the Trinidad and Tobago and the other islands, all of our CARICOM cousins, we love all of y'all. It is a festival. It has historically been the celebration of the very last harvest of the sugarcane. So the last stalks of sugarcane that are harvested are brought in and lifted up, and we give thanks. You know, I'm saying to the creator and to the ancestors, child. I don't think most Barbadians would use that language. But that's what they doing. It's very African. And we just give thanks to the land and to spirit and God, creator, ancestors, all of the land workers, the farmers, those who harvest. You know, it's laborious, okay? Sugarcane has a very complicated history, okay, on this island and the Caribbean at large, and it is actually really powerful to see Black, Bajan, indigenous Bajan people celebrating the land like this. So just know that as much as we love costumes and rum trucks and whining and walking up on a waist, Kadooment Day is literally the culmination of a months-long celebration. So I wanted to share that because the messages that I've been seeing about people coming to the island being on their worst behavior makes it seem like Crop Over Festival is just one big party. Now, have there been fetes galore? Absolutely. Have I been to one? Not at all. To no fault of my own, but transitioning to the island full time, it's taken a lot of getting used to island life, transitioning from the United States culturally, energetically, socially, financially, like a lot of leaves, child. So needless to say, I'm always deeply honored when I see my maternal motherland, Barbados, mentioned on the social media, in the social media streets. So since so many of you are planning on coming, I am giving you 3 pieces of advice so that you can conjure the most delicious, luscious, lavish, opulent, vacation, visit, holiday, whatever language you want to use possible, right? And do it safely. So the first piece of advice that I have is, I know that your beauty may be overlooked where you live, but please, for the love of Goddess, do not respond to psst, psst. It's not cute. It's not flirtatious, it's not funny, it's not attractive, it's violent. And whenever you respond to that, it actually makes it more difficult for girls and women all over the island. If a man wants your attention, he can use his words and his phrases from the English lexicon to communicate with you. And sexy is not a conversation starter. Most people won't identify street harassment as violent, but it is. It's actually a form of sexual violence because no one's approaching you talking about, oh, how, smart your brain looks or how detangled your hair is, right? No one's psting you to ask, hey, what did you get your last master's degree in? It's often because these men are fixated on hypersexualizing our bodies. And it's super problematic because a lot of times they don't give any care for age, origin, consent. Like, is this encounter, is this engagement even desire by the person that you're assaulting, essentially. And the island of Barbados is so small that, one, I would think men wouldn't do it because they would be concerned that they're approaching a family member or someone very close to their family in a sexual manner. But two, because the island is so small, most people know everybody, or at least of everybody, or can recognize everybody based on features and such. And so they know when tourists, especially American tourists, are on the island. Accents, dress, behavior, right? It almost it's almost as if you're a target. And I don't use that word to scare you because it's going to come up again. But I say that to empower you. And someone on Threads actually added to this comment by saying, and don't respond to clothing calling out. So like white shirt or blue dress, or right, because you might look down and be like, oh, that's me, and be like, what do I need? And then next thing you know, you're being harassed. So just keep walking, eyes on the road, or among the friend group that you're with or the person that you're with, and just don't engage. Don't engage. You're beautiful, you're a goddess, you're sexy, you're beautiful. I said beautiful already. You're gorgeous, you're lovely, you're stunning, like all the things, okay? I'm gonna say it to you, you say it to you, you have your people say it to you. Record yourself, okay, repeating affirmations to you so that you can just play it and hear your voice telling you how stunning you are, because you don't want anybody on the street seeing you, and that makes you feel attractive, because it's not attractive behavior. Now, piece of advice number 2. Romance scam is real. I mean, we all saw Tinder Swindler and thought that could never be me, right? Listen, he did it because it worked. So you can't put anything past anybody. And here on the island of Barbados, there are some men who make a living off of getting into the pockets of women tourists. And sometimes they mama, baby mama, girlfriend, sister, wife, whomever, cousin, they be in on it too. And so you have to be very mindful of making love connections or getting too close or being scammed, because even I almost got. Yeah. Yeah, the Bajan-Guyanese New Yorker with Barbadian citizenship, okay? Who's a firstborn, eldest granddaughter and niece on both sides, who has a Leo stellium, who was valedictorian in 6th grade. I almost got. What had happened was my cousin's golf buddy targeted me. And I'm talking even before we met in person, he knew who I was. And so he had actually come up in conversation because he told my cousin to ask me when I was going to be doing tarot and oracle card readings again, because he wanted a reading. So even before I met this person in the flesh, he knew who I was. And he knew the things that were important to me, and he knew that that would be something that would get my attention. Not only that, come to find out, he practices Ifa, which for the uninitiated is a Yoruba tradition. It's an ancient West African spiritual religion, tradition, spiritual system that many of our ancestors practice and I practice. And so this was the first time that I was dealing with a man who practiced Ifa. So there was, and how do I want to say this? If you know me, you know my spirituality is the most important thing to me. So there was something I felt very special and sacred about engaging this gentleman. And he did share with me that he lived with a mental health condition. And so I was compassionate and empathetic and aware of that. But this was not that, okay? If anything, him sharing that with me was just manipulation, right? He was manufacturing intimacy with me. And so I say all that to say, because that was the context that I was in. And because of that, I let the first few instances slide. I ignored the red flags. I thought it was a carnival. I was like, where's the cotton candy? Where's the popcorn? Look, there go the clown. But once I caught on to what was going on, oh baby, I went straight to his Babalawo. For the uninitiated, a Babalawo is an Ifa priest teacher, just so you know. And so thankfully, his Babalawo, his priest, his teacher, believed me and held him accountable. And so the Babalawo, the other elders at this gentleman's Ile, they gathered him rather quickly. And so I know there was a conversation. I know there was atonement. I know there was repayment. And there was plenty of blocking on every platform as well. But yeah, all that to say that there are so many beautiful women who come to this island. And this is a very similar experience, concept, phenomena that I witnessed when I was living in New Orleans, Louisiana as well, which is, in my opinion, the most African city in the United States, and it's the northernmost Caribbean city. And so New Orleans and Barbados are very similar in that, first of all, the accents are iconic. Okay, number one. Number two, it's beautiful. They're both really beautiful, Black, cultural, just soft landing places for Black women. And so you have all of these beautiful, brilliant, charming, successful, conventionally successful, fun, stylish, like just lovable women who come, and they come ready to have a good time. And the local men and the native men, they know that. And so they want to, tap into that energy. They want to siphon your energy. They want to siphon your finances. They want to get in where they fit in, basically, because while this is vacation for you, they live here, right? We live where y'all vacation. We live where y'all holiday. We live where people put our neighborhoods on their Pinterest boards. Like, when people are thinking about manifesting a dream home, they're thinking about places like Barbados, and we live here. So when you live here, but you're not having that experience, it just becomes rote to you. It just becomes regular, degula, schmegula. And you're like, how can I tap into the magic that women are bringing here? And this is how women end up getting God. Because I wouldn't say it's as dramatic as how Stella got her groove back. A shout out to Angela Bassett and Taye Diggs and Terry McMillan writing that book. But it definitely is something. But it definitely is something to be mindful of. And so the point that I was making about Barbados and New Orleans being similar is that because these women come for a weekend or a week, like, men will see them, give them the time of their life, and then they return home, and then the next cycle comes in. So just like when I was in New Orleans, now that I live here in Barbados, I can meet a gentleman and he'll be like, so where are you from? I hear an American accent. I'm like, oh, I was born and raised in New York City. But eventually it will come up. Oh, I moved here. Oh, you live here? Yeah, I live here. And you could see the look on men's faces, like their faces would drop, because they're expecting me to be some fly-by-night, gorgeous, fun weekend or week date, and then they don't have to think about me ever again once I return home. Oh no, babes. I'm a citizen by descent. Yeah. I got my paperwork. Okay? I'm a citizen. Okay? I got my passport. Okay? I got my Trident card. Okay? I got my tax ID number, the TAMI. Yeah, I belong here. And it's just a completely different dynamic after that. They realize that they can't with me the way that they wanted to or the way they intended to, because she's here. And if I'm here, I have access to your family, your friends, your boss, if you got a job, the men whose opinions you actually care about, right? I have access to all of that. And y'all know me, I got a big mouth. Okay, throat chakra is me. Throat chakra is warm, open, aligned, not blocked. And so men end up being very careful and tiptoeing around me. And I love that. I want you to be on eggshells, because if you're on eggshells around me, that tells me that there's something about you that I need to be worried about. And I want to see it all. Okay. This ain't even just about discernment. This is just about giving people enough time and space to let the mask fall off so you can see what's really good. Anyway, all that to say, that coming to Barbados is going to be so much fun. And honestly, I think it's an honor, traveling, even though it seems like it's not a luxury anymore these days with airline prices, especially in the aftermath of Spirit Airlines going out of business, just with the aviation systems and agencies, and just the chaos that's been ensuing since who took office and where. Like, it's just a lot. So the fact that you land here safely at BGI says a lot. And when you land here, I want you to have the best time. I don't want it to be ruined by somebody's ashy, belligerent, ignorant, selfish son. So that's the second part, child. Okay. What's the third thing? Oh, yes. Probably, I'm not going to say most importantly, because I think all of these are important. But the third one is bring protection and a plan B. Nah. I know you like, Lyvonne, girl, what you talking about? You find Fumi, what going on? Let me tell you something. I know you may not be planning on anything happening, but Barbados is an intoxicatingly beautiful island. It is gorgeous here. And many women that I've seen posting on social media talking about coming to be here on their worst behavior, I don't think most of these women plan on having an intimate encounter. But here's the thing, you're grown and you have agency. Remember, I'm the priestess of pleasure. I'm not a prude, but I do want you to be safe. I want you to be ethical, and I want you to feel aligned. And so while we have protection and plan B here, baby, I don't know who is going to be looking for a pharmacy when they at the Fed. Okay? Like, so much is happening. All these beautiful melanated bodies. We're gyrating. There's a rum truck. There might be some plant medicine. It's just a magical, mystical time. And, we talk about this a lot in Caribbean culture, that a wine is just a wine, right? But sometimes, y'all, let's be real, because I'm sure there are some married couples, some divorced couples, some baby mamas, baby daddies, baby parents. Okay? My windows are closed for this recording, but you heard the rooster be in my amen corner. That the wine turned into more than just a wine, babes. So my thing is, when those moments happen, I don't want you to have an unhealthy encounter, right? So bringing protection is going to keep your holistic wellness on tap, and having a plan B just in case. Okay, hear me. You can never be too safe. So I want you to bring protection and bring plan B, because if you don't, you might leave the island with more than a passport stamp. Amen, rooster. It is high time for women to take their sexual health and matters into their own hands. You cannot trust anyone else to care more about your sexual health than you do. And for so many of us, especially Black women, when we were girls, we were shamed about our bodies. Let's not even talk about sex, just breasts, right? Growing at different spurts, different sizes, getting training bras, being shamed about our clothing options. You get older, you come home for the holidays, and the first thing people have to say to you is, "Wanna put on weight? You get fat?" What? Like, who in their right mind gives unsolicited commentary on people's bodies, specifically Black women's? And I know that I'm talking to Afro-Caribbean women, but I think this really does apply to Black women writ large, and then many women of color, and maybe some women who aren't of color. Anywho, the point is that our bodies have been so steeped in shame by family, church, and society for so long that the idea of initiating a conversation about sexual health and wellness can intimidate some Black women. And it is critical that you learn how to have those conversations. I like to use, even though it's been quite some time since I've had to have this conversation, but send them, Lord. How do I start the conversation about sexual health and wellness? Oh, when's the last time you were tested? When's the last time you were tested? I actually talk about this, how to initiate this conversation, in my book, Sensual Faith, The Art of Coming Home to Your Body, which is an invitation for women, particularly Black women, to live their spirituality from a place of pleasure rather than shame. And I talk about how those conversations are important for us to lead if our partner or partners, let's be real, some advanced folks among us, don't bring it up first. And so it's ethical, right? It's practical, it's logical to actually have that conversation before you engage. So yeah, definitely something to think about as you're here. So those are my 3 pieces of advice for women coming to the island of Barbados for last lap. Okay, we are coming down to the final days of 2026 Crop Over Festival season. And it's such an exciting time. It's such a beautiful time. And I want to make sure you have the best time. So if you're Bajan, if you love a Bajan, if you've been to Barbados, especially if you've been to Crop Over, what advice do you have for women coming to the island of Barbados? Leave your advice in the comments below. We want to know what you think, what you know, what you heard, what you lived, because that's wisdom, right? There's knowledge and there's the application of knowledge, which is wisdom. But there's like wisdom squared, which is when you can learn from someone else without having to actually go through that thing and still get the wisdom, the knowledge, the medicine that you need. So if you are interested in learning more about my experiences here on the island of Barbados, definitely subscribe, child, okay? Turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Head on over to my Patreon, Dawta of the Diaspora, where you'll find all of the supplemental materials for all of the videos that I post on this channel. And it's where we do a lot of our communal learning. If you want to be a dual citizen like I am, and you're interested in dual citizenship coaching, that is linked below as well. And then a couple of housekeeping things. On August 6th, which is a Thursday at 7:30 p.m., I will be doing my Self-Pleasure is a Gift from God lecture and Q&A. Tickets range from $25 to $45. We're going to be talking about all things social, political, theological, about pleasure, and specifically self-pleasure. And then finally, I have a very exciting community launching in just a couple weeks, where I am inviting all of my unruly women, all of my bad gals, and those who support and uplift us to come be in community together. We're going to be reading sacred texts. We're going to be gathering for weekly master classes. We're going to be gathering for monthly roundtables. It's just going to be why did I mute fire? It's gonna be a fire community. That's the word I wanted to mute, child. So all of that will be linked. You know where to go. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to be sharing this space with you, co-creating this global community with you. Go in peace, go in power, go in pleasure. Be well, beloved ones. And if it's not well, it's not the end. And I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see some of y'all up on the road. Peace, y'all. Happy crop over.